Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another live reaction show, a wrestling reaction show here on the Matt and John Make a Podcast channel. John on your right, obviously. I'm Matt on your left. Let's just get right into the show that just went off the air about 10 minutes ago, and that was Friday Night Smackdown. John, overall thoughts on the show before we dive into it?
Yeah, I honestly thought that this wasn't very good this week. Just a very boring show. I felt, to be perfectly honest, outside of like Roman and like Drew there, for the contract signing. Just especially with that opening segment, just I was asking myself, what the hell are we doing here, sort of thing.
I missed the opening segment, by the way.
Yeah, it was like the most random thing where, like, we had a segment with like New Day, who are just randomly showing up just because. Then we had Sami Zayn confront him. Then King Corbin came out, and then Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode confronted him, which eventually turned it into a brawl. Which eventually Street Profits came down and turned it into the old 8-man tag there, which is just like typical WWE booking, lazy booking sort of thing. And I'm just like, already hitting off the show. I'm like, well, this is not off to a great start here, to say the least here.
I tune in, I think, right as Ford hit this frog splash to get the win.
It just looked like you really did not miss a damn thing. The whole entire time they were hyping up Undertaker's appearance on Survivor Series, then just talking about some like random things that wasn't really built into any of their individual matches. It was just a giant waste of time. I felt, and honestly, it was kind of a like microcosm of the show, which everything just felt like a giant waste of time.
I didn't feel that way at all from what I saw.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like,
I thought it was a decent show, but then again, I watched Raw.
Yeah, it was just really boring to me. Just really boring.
I wasn't bored with it.
I was extremely bored with it. To be perfectly honest, which is something that I haven't said in quite some time about SmackDown. So hopefully it's just like 1 week where they just kind of like mailed it in, because it's a go home show for Survivor Series, which is all intents and purposes is really a like nothing show right now, as far as like actual storylines that are actually meaningful. So we'll see how they do for next week there.
Let's see. I think next we had Adam Pearce talking to somebody off camera. It was Otis, final member of Team Smackdown, and Gable is there celebrating with him. As they celebrate together with that, and then Natalia's there complaining about facing Tamina. And Pierce says they already put Bailey on the team as the team captain, and then their match is next, Natalya and Tamina.
And my comment was, wow, they really must want to turn away any sort of like viewership whatsoever with this match here, you know.
Which most of the match I did miss, and I came back in
again
with Natalya at the end.
Again, you didn't miss much. It's just, I'm just like, Jesus, like
Natalya wins.
Man, just bad. But
I'm like done with like Natalya.
Yeah,
I'm down with it. Oh yeah.
It's like I said before, she is the female version of Dolph Ziggler. That's exactly who she is.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's
just
right.
like anytime she comes on, it's instant channel change and heat for me, and that really isn't going to change. It's just, I mean, like, I get it that they really value her as far as her like leadership backstage and everything, but as far as an on-screen character, she really offers you absolutely nothing.
They pretty much
Mhm.
ruin her from whatever they have for her. Does not
Right.
translate
Right.
well.
No, it doesn't. So.
But Bianca looked good. Just looked good.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'll be damned, John. A team is somewhat all together and not fighting.
And there wasn't any infighting. I'm like, can we just have 1 year where there isn't any infighting with these Survivor Series teams? I mean, hell, I remember watching old old WWF Survivor Series Survivor Series style on 5 tags, and there was a lot of team camaraderie and stuff, and that was like really cool in the Hogan era, just because like it was something different.
Well,
the
difference there is because there were face teams going against heel teams, not faces of heels, and intermingled with each other.
And I really like that, and it's just like and whereas compared to right now, where we're seeing it over on a Raw, where it seems like every single year it's like everyone has to have a conflict. I mean, can we just do it? Without this bullshit?
They need a single purpose of a goal, like an attainable goal, for them to win, and then I think that would eliminate. I think you would have maybe a little bit, but that would eliminate most of it, you would think.
And too, man, that has been the biggest problem about Survivor Series. It's just every single one of these matches has zero consequences to them, which is why everything about the show just feels like so like meh, outside of the Undertaker's final swan song, or so we think anyway. So
yep.
So yeah.
Then we get the contract signed between Drew and Roman.
Man, Roman with these freaking haymakers, man. It's just like he calling Drew a secondary title holder.
The person they go to when Roman's not there. I was like,
Jesus Christ, man! Like, just
so good.
Like, just his charisma and just how he just delivers these freaking lines, man, are just like brutal, cool, and just like
it's so good.
I cannot hate this man. It's just, my God, is
and the nice touch. And see, I was missing some stuff throughout the show, and so I missed the subtle touch, and I saw it online of Roman made Adam move so he can sit at the head of the table.
Yep, absolutely.
It's so good. Everything they're doing with, I'm telling you, the equivalent of Roman is Bray, because whatever they're doing with both of those is not wrong.
Well, supposedly Heyman is doing everything with, like, as far as it's concerned with, like, Reigns, which probably explains a lot of things, just because everything just feels so like real, intense. It just, I mean, he's the most consistent guy every single week, with across across wrestling right now. It's just any segment he is in, I am glued to my TV. It's just I really think like that they can give him like the most like shit feud right now, and he will find some way to like make it work at this point. That's how far on top of his game that he is now. But man, they really made Drew look like a bitch in this segment. I was like, Jesus, like he didn't really say anything. Like Roman was just verbally just abusing him, and he just took it. I'm like, okay, you're not gonna punch him or do something? No, just accepted it, and that was it. I was like, wow, just okay. So yeah, there was that. Were you kind of surprised by that?
I'm just surprised in general when the contract signing does not go awry.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I don't know. I'm I'm torn because in a way Drew just has that look like, okay, you can talk, do what you need to do, but with that smirk, I'm gonna kick your ass regardless. Keep talking. But on the other side there is the defend yourself aspect. I don't know. In a way, I'm trying to justify it in my head, but like for Drew, I don't know if it just works that slick side smile. Like, okay, yeah, keep talking.
I will definitely say this though, man. These two guys come off like actual main event guys. Like
this is a Mania match, right? Well, even though it was one, but like this is a Mania match.
Like Drew comes off like a freaking badass. And
both of them do.
It's just I just wish that they would have not have taken his balls away from the segment, but it's better. It's a lot better than anything going on
Again, I wish
Monday night. So
I accept the Fiend, but I still wish they would have saved this version of this encounter for like an actual like match with something. Like if this was a Mania build for a title, this would have been like, if it wasn't for like Survivor Series, this would have been excellente. I mean, like it would have been amazing if it was on SmackDown. But we're getting this now. It is the Conor McGregor versus whoever, and the rest of the card.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how this card feels as well. I mean,
with a minor exception or two, that's what the card feels like.
Yeah, and we will get into that shortly here. So after that,
we got Seth and Murphy, I think.
Yeah.
Can I make this point before we get into this? It amazes me on SmackDown how the time it took to get to the way this feud lasted on Raw compared to how this feud started, to continue, and pretty much end on SmackDown. The time it took on SmackDown compared to Raw, is cut in half. They compared to what they did on Raw.
Well, I think
they actually moved along.
Yeah,
and I know Seth is leaving soon.
Yeah,
but
I think that
at least with this feud, nobody wants to see. But it was there, and then it went. It didn't drag its feet.
Yeah, and this is the clear end here because I definitely think that that after Survivor Series, Seth should be gone for the foreseeable future. Hell, I would not even be surprised if they announce on Sunday that he's not going to be able to compete, and they're going to replace them. Honestly, so I mean, and it's pretty obviously Becky is really pregnant right now, and
Couldn't tell.
I believe that she is due within the next month here. So I would assume he'll be gone until the Royal
Yep.
Rumble match there. So yeah. So like Murphy wins and he's
That's
happy.
clean.
Yeah, he won clean. I would not mind seeing him feuding with like Sami Zayn next. I feel like that would be a good
I
progression.
feel like they're still teasing him and Brian.
Yeah.
Didn't they have another encounter?
Yeah, which that's probably it's going to be something short term because I definitely feel like depending on what happens for like Mania, he's Daniel Bryan is definitely one of the contenders to win the 2020 Royal Rumble match. There
I don't know
because I definitely feel like they're building him up for him versus Roman. If they don't get Rock versus Roman,
that's
like Mania. I think that's pretty clear.
But
I mean,
but I feel like if it would be, I think Big E is, I don't know. See, I'm torn with that because Brian's stating that he wants the younger talent to go over, and when I don't just see him, I mean, he could put over Roman, but
what you will.
But I feel like I think to me, Big E is higher. Just based on it.
The problem is with that they have done absolutely nothing.
It's true,
since,
but they could start after.
They could, but I think it was a giant mistake not to have him on the Survivor Series on Team Smackdown, which I don't know why he's on there and why Otis is on there. Just makes zero sense to me. And at least until this point, it just doesn't seem like they have any plan for him whatsoever. But I'm gonna give them a small pass just because it is only Survivor Series and pretty much everything is on a hold right now until we
I wait to see what they do with them after Survivor Series.
Right.
To really hone in on who I think will win. But there's minor story. There's the big thing is Survivor Series, and there's little bits of storylines going on with that to like have in place until when Survivor Series is over. With Sasha Banks in this next segment with Carmella planning that
they really have done the same shit with her and Sasha for like the last 3 weeks, and it's really, I mean, like I don't want to seem overly picky, but I'm going to be coming off extremely picky here. Like, was it really fickle? Was it really necessary to like do 3 straight weeks of just her beating her up? Okay, we get the freaking point. This is going to be her like next feud. We get it, but yeah, I mean, like, and everyone was complaining online. Why didn't Asuka save her? I was like, well, Sasha was kind of being a freaking bitch to her.
Why would you help your why would you help your opponent?
Right, exactly. I'm just
that's being like she's just looking like,
you're like, all right, okay, but I it just like I cannot wait for that feud between her and Carmella to be over. Hopefully, it's just a like 1 month thing because to me, and we've been saying this every single week, Matt, the feud is Sasha versus Bianca. That's where they need to.
That's
hoping that's the plan there.
That's a Mania thing. That's
so we
several months away.
We just need to suffer through for the next few months here, and then we'll get to.
I'm not down on that as much as you are right now.
I'm completely heel on that.
I couldn't tell.
One would say.
I couldn't tell.
So then I believe after that it was on Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso, a like really good match. Told a pretty good story here. You could just see like it was definitely a little bit of a different match. You could tell like those guys were laying in their offense there for sure, which I really liked her. Daniel Bryan, he was really selling his back throughout this match here, and like he gets a like win over Jey Uso. I would imagine we're probably are going to be getting a third match between these two at some point. Since they're obviously tied at like one apiece. So I could possibly see that at TLC unless they go down with Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. That is so yeah. I mean, like I didn't mind this, but and outside of like Roman and Drew, the rest of the show just kind of fell on flat for me. Any thoughts on the main event there, man?
It was excellent. As expected. I mean, with these two, it's really good. Dan O'Brien gets the win. Our chief Roman Reigns is not going to be too happy about that, so we'll see how that plays out on Sunday. So I'm stuff with Roman and Jay. It's always good.
Yep.
Good.
That was good. I would imagine Roman is that they're going to be showing him pretty pissed off when we have Smackdown next week. So,
or even backstage on Survivor Series, I would say.
Yeah. Also possible as well. So yeah, Matt. Now let's discuss the freaking horror show, as I call it, Monday Night Raw.
I'm going through it. Hang on.
I didn't watch this, but obviously, probably the biggest news that came out of the show was obviously we have a new WWE champion, Drew. Wins back his WWE title from Randy Orton. It begs the question: why the hell did freaking Randy Orton win the title back in the first place? He has a 3-week title reign. Because I guarantee you, Matt, that everyone in creative, mainly Vince, probably said, "Huh."
Vince probably changed his mind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what happened here. It was like, it probably wasn't a great idea to put the title on Orton since we have Survivor Series. And oh yeah, that's right. It's a heel versus heel match here. and Drew versus Reigns looks a lot better. And I'm just like asking myself, I know for a fact that these people just do not think ahead whatsoever. It's just mind blowing to me, because if like Drew was still champion and just like remain champion, Matt, this match I feel is so much bigger right now. Whereas now it's just like I don't want to say a transitional champion, but definitely this was definitely a last second, and it just really just frustrates me just how little attention to detail that this company has when they have things like this, and now we just killed Orton's steam. Like any sort of steam that he had is completely dead now. Like he's I'm not sure what they are doing with him. I think he's feuding with like with the Fiend right now, and I also think too, Matt, that we're probably are getting Sheamus versus Drew, which I'm kind of looking forward to after Survivor Series. But man, it's just really frustrating about that. What do you think about the title change there?
Yeah, I know. I missed the match too, so I mean, I'm really not consistent. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Glad to see Drew have it back, and of course, Drew and Roman's the bigger match.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. Quickly go through here. We had Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke beat Lana, Baszler, and Jax. And after the match, we have the Lana table spot for 9th straight week, which is amazing. Still some backstage segment with this Team Raw being, kind of upset and AJ trying to get them together. Then apparently, I think Mandy is legit hurt.
Yeah, I heard that
So
too.
she was written off, I think, during the match, and then Dana Brooke was written off by not Mia Yim backstage. Got her ass kicked. Then Firefly Funhouse with Alexa and Bray, kind of basically cutting a promo on the Miz. Later in night, it is the Miz versus Bray Wyatt. We got Raw Tag Team Title match. Cedric Alexander and Sean Benjamin of the Hurt Business versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And a good match between the two. Excellent match. I think this is the one with Kofi's bad promo in the beginning of the match.
Also too, man. Did you see like Cedric nearly killing himself with those suicide dives there?
Yes,
But
he didn't care.
I'm just like, bro, like why?
Right, he doesn't care.
Why?
New Day retains. Obviously, you saw today. Sheamus is catching up with Drew backstage. He's still talking. Sheamus being friendly with Drew. Gives him a wooden chest, and inside was like the kilt, reminiscent of the kilt he had when he first debuted, and a sword that he was used for his entrance, which was badass. Let me tell you.
Which apparently that was a sword that supposedly Stephanie and Triple H gave to like Vince there for his birthday or something.
Yeah, I think I did read something too. So that was Vince's giving him. So that's like something right there that Vince is like, here, use my sword. Then we got Retribution versus Team Raw minus AJ Styles, and Retribution wins. Breaking news. Yes.
So we go throughout this whole entire time. Retribution has not won a single freaking match. Pretty or a match that actually matters. And now we have them beat the Raw Survivor Series team just because, and I just fail to understand what the logic was behind this one here.
Because Team Raw can't get together, John. Can't work together.
Apparently, I'm just like, and even for that reason, the team they're facing are a bunch of freaking jobbers. They suck right now. I'm just like, this just makes them look incredibly weak right now, and I'm needless to say, I just roll my eyes when I read this here. So,
if we get minus some backstage segments here, we get Miz versus Bray Wyatt, which was an excellent segment. Just Alexa and just Bray are just great together. He had Bliss run off the steps and like Spider Monkey Morrison over and just take him out, and then you had the GIF of the year candidate of Alexa peering over the barricade with that creepy smile, which I don't know how there's not more GIFs of that out there, or that wasn't immediately one when it happened. internet, Twitter, you disappoint me.
Shows you how many people were actually watching Raw.
Well, somebody can make it. There's usually one person would make it. And people were doing the everybody was doing the Alexa Bliss spider monkey jump, and nobody was doing the creepy smile. And I'm like, you people disappoint me. If I had the ability, I would do it. That was like, to me, that reminded me instantly of when Vince did it against Austin, all bloody. It just had that sadistic smile.
Yeah.
That's what the first thing that popped in my head. And then after the match, of course, Bray wins. And she's just like walking on like a little kid walking on the barricade. Like, it's so good. It's so good. She's hitting it in stride. It's great. Nothing is bad about those two on Raw. It was the highlight for Raw for me. Consistently, week in, week out. Those are the segments I look forward to. That on Raw, Roman, Jay, and everything with Roman on SmackDown. Those are the two. It was announced that Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce will replace Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke on the women's team. Then the minus other stuff backstage, title match and main event. Obviously, we cover that, and Drew is your new champion.
Yeah.
Move on.
We already talked about this.
Now
let's move on to Survivor Series, man. We might as well just give our Survivor Series predictions here. This is obviously the 30th anniversary and the final farewell of The Undertaker, which, as we all know, he debuted in November of 1990, which is hard to believe that I was only 6 or 7 months old at the time. So
I was negative 2-ish.
Yeah. You weren't even conceived yet, so
wasn't even thought of.
Yeah, wasn't even thought of. So that's obviously is the biggest thing here. I'm interested to see what they're going to actually do with this year. I would be surprised if we don't see some like legends here on the show, whether it's like Flair or Flair, Kane. I'm looking at McFoley. I would assume he would be there as well. Shawn Michaels, obviously, and Triple H. So I'm definitely expecting that. I'm just interested to see if this is going to be a actual farewell, or if this is just going to be being something that's being built to a future match at WrestleMania, which I'm hoping is not the case. But that's definitely in the back of my head there. What about you there, man?
Yeah, it's always in the it's always in the back of my mind too. It's possible.
Absolutely is.
It's possible. We'll see, but I feel like this will likely close the show. I don't see why not. So it's gonna be interesting.
And also, too, after the show, we are getting a 2-hour podcast with Taker and Steve Austin. Cannot wait for that. I cannot wait to hear some of the crazy stories that those two guys have for that there. So definitely looking forward to that. But as far as the matches here, Matt, do you want to?
Yeah, we'll go up bottom to the top. The women's 5-on-5 elimination match. Team Raw, Team SmackDown. On Raw, Baszler, Jax, Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce versus Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. I'm gonna go with. Go ahead.
I'm going with Team SmackDown here. But I would not be surprised at all if they make Lana the freaking lone survivor on this team.
That's how it's. I feel like it's where it's going. I'm going Raw, Lana, so Survivor. I'm
only
that.
saying that just because if you look over on SmackDown, Matt, they have Bailey and Bianca over there, and they really should be. They should be making Bianca the freaking lone survivor in this match. But but I do think that it's probably a good possibility. But
it doesn't mean anything.
I'm going to be going against that, and I'm picking Team SmackDown and Bianca. She will be the lone survivor, and she better be. Damn it! But
I'm going Lana, so Survivor.
But I'm preparing myself to be very disappointed about this.
I'm already. It's just how the story is written. It seems like that's how it's going. That Lana against all odds.
I will complain on the internet once that happens there.
Yeah, as expected. I will not because I called it. Then we get the men's 5-on-5. AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle on Team Raw versus Owens, Uso, Corbin, Rollins, and Otis.
Yeah, I'm going with like Team Raw here. Even though they've been like teasing the Ascension and stuff, I do think that they will pull this one out here. Yeah, that's all that I'm going to like really say. Since there's no consequences or any benefits.
I was thinking that, and I was also going to go get on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have since Jade lost tonight, maybe he survives with help of Roman, but at the same time you got
I can't see him helping him out though either
or doing something and making him but like coming down and say, you know what you have to do. And then he does it and he wins.
Yeah. I think
I could see, but on both sides, I can see like both of these matches. I can see both sides happening.
Yeah, and as far as like lone survivors, I think on Team Raw, definitely. I think Sheamus is possible because I think they are like leading into him versus Drew, and on Team SmackDown, I could see Kevin Owens because I would not be surprised if they're going to be doing him versus Roman in at TLC there too. So
I mean, you can always not have just a sole survivor, but I mean, group.
Yeah.
I can. I'll go with SmackDown. I'll go with SmackDown. Be different, but like it's still a tough one to pick because who the hell knows. Then we have WWE United States Champion Bobby Lashley versus Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. I'm going with Lashley.
Yeah, I'm expecting shenanigans here. Like if Sami Zayn does win, it's going to be by very cheap heel tactics. Here, honestly, I think we could even see a like DQ here as well. Wouldn't surprise me.
I can see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think either guy can really afford a like loss here, which is a problem. But I mean, it's really hard to make it believable at all that Sami Zayn is going to actually beat Lashley. So I think Lashley does win, but I would not be surprised if this ends in a
true. I see Sammy trying to cheat to win, but gets caught. Lashley wins, and then since he was complaining tonight a lot, Sami Zayn, I could see that continuing on Friday about just him just complaining about stuff that being a heel thing, and then leading into his next feud. So then we got the New Day versus Street Profits.
Yeah, and Matt, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but have the Street Profits been like pinned at all since they've been called up to the main roster?
Oh, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, they had to have
Okay,
in some
maybe.
form or fashion.
Okay, because I can't recall, but I'm gonna go with the Street Profits here. New Day, they can afford a like loss here. Street Profits, I would continue building these guys up strongly as champions. Like my overall interest in this match really isn't all that high. If I'm being perfectly honest, just I'll slightly say the Street Profits here. How about you?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Yeah, I think I'll go with the Street Profits
Mhm.
on this one. Still going to be a great match regardless.
Right.
Then we got Asuka versus Banks.
Oscar versus Banks. I think Sasha is going over here. I think she should be going over here. And by the way, Sasha's wardrobe every single week just gets more and more creative. I'll just leave it at that there. But
I'll go with Sasha.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just like to me, she's like
she's due.
she's due. Like it's time to finally give her a strong title reign. Asuka, she can afford a like loss here. She really hasn't been like pinned all that much within the last 6 months or so here.
Yeah, she can lose.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm hoping that they book Sasha with the win here, and she needs to have a strong title reign as she goes into WrestleMania season,
and then main event, Drew and Roman.
Yeah, I'll be stunned if like Reigns does and win clean here. As much as I love Drew, Roman should not be losing any matches anytime soon. It's his time. This is the best incarnation.
This is the one that nobody both shouldn't lose. Right. I was going to say there would be shenanigans in this match if this doesn't, because I don't think this closes the show. But it's Undertaker. But if I had to pick Roman.
Like to me, we either have a like no finish or like Roman wins. Drew should not be pinning
I
Roman at all.
I can see if Roman. I would be okay if Roman does that guillotine submission after just a hard, just beat your ass match, and Drew just passes out. It doesn't tap.
And that's fine.
I think if you're gonna do a clean, I think that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, because at that
without
point,
pissing everybody off.
Right. I think that's probably is the best finish right there. Makes like Roman look like a killer and makes like Drew look like a fighting champion. So I would be absolutely fine with that. So yeah, we'll see how Survivor Series goes. So now we're going to be moving on to AEW Dynamite, Matt. So my overall thoughts on the show this week, Matt. A solid show, but I will say though, up until the second hour, I was not particularly happy on how the show was going.
See, so I see. I don't have that perspective because my plans today went longer than I thought, and so I was gonna watch it after work today. But I was something after work held me up longer, so I kind of just did the YouTube clips to get like the quick thing, just so I didn't like. I was afraid I didn't want to run into Smackdown and stuff, and plus I had to eat. So I did the top 5 moments and then the random other clips they have. And I got the gist of the show.
So basically, the stuff that I felt just really sucked. First of all, Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy was freaking awful, terrible. Kip Sabian should not be on TV. He sucks. I mean, like they gave this guy a chance, and as Yeah.
I'm sorry. And the short clip I saw, I can't. I cannot stand Miro. I'm sorry.
No,
Like
he's
like
super freaking annoying right now. Is what
yeah,
he is. Like he was
he's not.
dreadful in commentary.
Yeah, I've turned on him faster than Big Show does on a weekly uh, basis.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like
So
he just need, Miro would be okay if he got away from the gamer best man gimmick
mhm,
with Kip. It just not working.
it's terrible.
It does not work for me. But yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean, obviously Orange Cassidy wins, great, and then after the match, Miro just beats the crap out of him. But before that, let's start off the show.
Young Bucks and
Young Bucks versus
Top Flight.
yeah, a very good opener. I felt went up about like 13 minutes or so. Um, this was just basically showcasing Top Flight, a
And
very young tag team.
I
Yeah.
was from the 5 minute clip I saw.
Mhm,
I was very impressed with Top Flight. I saw stuff that I
mhm.
didn't see before.
Right. Yeah.
Some unique things. So
Yep.
I mean, I liked what I saw from them. I mean,
Yeah. And two, they are extremely young. I think the one guy is only 19, and like his
really,
brother is 21. So like they're still like freaking babies in the bed in the business right now. That was good. Bucks really put them over. Just it just adds another exciting tag team with this division here. So yeah, we had that. Obviously, we had like I believe after this was like Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian after this year, Matt.
according to Wrestling Inc., it was part one of Inner Circle in
Oh yeah,
Vegas.
oh yeah. What did you think of that whole thing there?
Screw you and what you thought. I enjoyed it. I I enjoy, especially the first part. But let me tell
Honestly,
you, Let me
I'm
tell you,
shocked.
MJF. You shocked. Wait, I did you? I don't know. What
I'm
was your
shocked.
reaction? Because I didn't have you on. Did you like do
I
the?
I was shocked by that. I thought that she would hate this. Honestly,
No, no. I mean, no.
because it
It
was
wasn't.
kind of cheesy.
It was the 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 first part. I thought I enjoyed. I enjoyed what they did in the first part. Because it was just it came off better, in my
Mhm.
opinion, than other stuff they've done, either live in the ring or
By far,
uh,
the best part was like a Wardlow and Hager just like staring at each other.
just the storylines and the thing. I appreciated it. MJF, you would get shot if you stole cards at
Yeah,
Vegas,
yeah, yeah,
and another thing is usually, yeah, the cards are always down.
yeah,
You
yeah,
would
yeah.
you would get shot and get kicked out. So I don't buy that, AEW. Um, what else happened? What I'm trying to think. Jericho and MGF did the whole what
Um,
nothing,
one upping
whatever
thing.
you could do, I can do better thing, and then
Yeah, 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 yeah,
drinking alcohol and then slowly throughout the segment, uh, just walking, getting drunk.
yeah,
Um, and I think was it part one. I think Conan shows up and they like smoke weed in the back of a limo.
yeah. They're like,
Um,
they're like,
I
they're
see a
like, man,
dragon, and it was
you
if you
drink.
didn't know who if you don't know who that guy was, which I remembered he was on America's Got Talent, and I think he won, and he wore that costume for his act. So that was Nice thing. And there's some did I miss the random guy, shirtless dude? Who was that? Or was that just a random shirtless dude
Uh,
drinking at the
uh,
bar?
was that like Elvis? Was that Elvis?
No. There was Elvis on the roof, but there
Okay.
was a shirtless dude at the bar, and then like Wardlow and
Oh yeah,
Hager
and
were
like
facing off, and then when they were walking, he fell over like
mhm.
a drunken ass.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah,
um,
that's right.
then the second part, we'll just get the second part now. What the hell? Um, they wake up post debauchery in the big hotel suites, and apparently Hornswoggle thinks he's an actual baby.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I hated about this was just I'm seeing him, because that just gave me a terrible image in my mind right there.
Obviously a ripoff of a parody of Hangover.
Well, yeah, which I kind of expected and kind of wanted, because I definitely think
I was Santana, no, Ortiz, was he on crack? Because he was hyper as hell.
it would not surprise me, because he was just yeah,
I think that was, if I missed
and
something,
Santana
he was on,
and
he was coked up,
Santana, he is just
feeding the chickens.
chilling. He's feeding chickens and just chilling there on the floor there. And
Um,
Sammy fell asleep
married,
in the freaking fountain.
married, married three people,
Yeah,
and MGF had marker on his face. Apparently,
yeah,
he's soft.
yeah.
Um,
Sammy apparently wrote that on his face when he
yeah.
was sleeping. So like someone suggested, since everyone blacked out here, I wonder if MJF might have pulled a stunt where he made like Jericho sign over authority of the inner circle over with him, which I could see as a possibility. I was like, huh, I could see that, just because obviously if they completely blacked out, and if MJF had some sort of a contract or saying, oh, if you sign this over, I am the undisputed
I can
leader.
see that. Yeah, I can
So
see that.
so definitely something to keep an eye on there. But I was really entertained by this. I know a lot of people were complaining about this because they thought, oh, it's too cheesy and stuff. I'm like,
Of all the things, of all the things they've done, this is probably the least cheesy they've.
just like I saw,
Relatively,
right.
this was the best thing they've done.
Like
Uh,
it just like, maybe it's just me, but like I feel like that everyone just, when it comes to Dynamite, like they feel like that everything has to be 100% serious, which I don't think that a show should be that way. Like there should be some like different varieties of like
I
wrestling
think I
on a
think
show.
it's when it's surrounded by what it's surrounded by,
Yeah.
and AKA Kip Sabian stuff.
Yes.
I think it's guilty by association.
Yeah.
Um, and and I think that's what some things on like Raw and like the Fiend,
Yeah.
he's suffering. It's guilt by
Perfect
association.
example. Perfect example right there. But
It's
so
guilt. It's
yeah.
guilt by association.
So yeah, that was good. What's next, Matt?
Real quick, yeah, the Moxley backstage promo and
Where
Slick
we
Way.
found out Renee Young is pregnant now. I was like, well, that came out of like nowhere there. So
Yeah, that was unique way of doing it.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
a
Then, yep. Go ahead.
yeah, a very good promo here. Obviously setting up his title match against Kenny in like 2 weeks on Dynamite. So yeah, just like he just kind of like laid out all of his struggles and just talking about his family and like his
Uh,
wife and everything. Really good promo there.
Yeah, and then we talked. Next was Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy. We covered that.
Garbage.
Tell me how you really feel. Then the contract was supposed to be the contract signing between. I just forgot his name. I was going to say Kenny Olivier, but that's not it. Kenny Omega. Like I literally forgot Omega, so I was just going to go with Olivier.
You need to stop watching so much Cornette there, buddy.
Nope,
Chill
I
out.
will not. I will not stop
Chill
watching the
out.
Cornette. I need to watch. Maybe need to watch more. No. Anyways. Yes. I don't know. Omega's in the ring and signs a contract. Basically, if I'm missing anything.
Yeah. So basically, someone attacked like Moxley.
Well,
backstage.
yeah. I was gonna get. I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna get. I wasn't sure if he said anything.
No.
Or,
he didn't really say anything. Just basically that John, you can like weasel your way out of this one. Because if you recall, at All Out it was a year ago, they were supposed to be facing one another on All Out, but like John, he suffered a like elbow injury because of staph infection there. So they were kind of referring back with that there, but then obviously Moxley he got attacked backstage. If I had to guess, that was probably Archer who probably laid him out. Someone was also maybe saying I'm Hangman, but I'm just like I'm not sure if that exactly makes any sense. But then again, they could go with the whole angle of like Hangman wanting to like sabotage Kenny's title match, and anyway. But then again, it'd be like, okay, so then why wouldn't he attack Kenny and not the champion there? So if I had to guess, it was probably Archer who laid him out. What about you there, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe makes sense. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I keep saying that. We'll move on. That's Las Vegas again. We covered that. Then we got the Blade and the Butcher versus the Blade versus Pac.
I feel like that this went on way too long. I felt like Pac, he was selling a little bit too much here. However, this was a pretty good match here. Pac, he wins obviously, and he hits a like 450 and then submits him. And then after the
That's a 450.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Isn't a shooting star?
Or sorry,
It's one of
those
two.
Yeah, a like shooting star into
yeah.
yeah. So then after the match, we had Pac, he was trying to cut a promo on Eddie Kingston, who was on commentary, but then like Butcher hits him from like behind, and they just keep on beating him up. Eventually, Phoenix, he comes down and tries to save him. He gets beaten down, and then Pentagon Jr. comes out, and they're teasing him of possibly turning on like his brother, which like he doesn't. So now it looks like we are getting Pac and Phoenix and Pentagon back as a like a 3-man team now. I'm really happy to see that, which I kind of felt that they were going to actually do here, because I feel like a like 3-on-3 feud between like them versus Eddie, Blade, and Butcher should be pretty fun. And Matt, I'm not sure if you have been seeing here, but it really does feel like that they're setting up for possible Omnicom Trios tag titles, because now, if I'm thinking about it, they have, I would say, at least 3, 4, or 5 like trios teams right now. So if I think that's something that they're definitely going to be thinking about doing with in the future here. So, any thoughts on this segment and with Pac Phoenix and Penta being back as a group now?
I'm okay with that. I like that segment. For the most part, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm just out of all of them, I just love Eddie Kingston. Just promo wise, to me, he's entertaining. Awesome. To me, he's like the best thing out of this. I can listen to him on commentary all day.
Him and
he's the most enjoyable.
Him and Shivani just going back and forth all the time is
to me, it's the best part. Then we got I didn't see this until like right now. Jade Cargill beating up Brandy Rose backstage. I think
Brandy Rhodes. Yeah. First of all, Brandy Rhodes is a terrible actress. Like, she's terrible. She's a terrible actress. She can't sell. It's like, it just looked so phony and so fake. I was just like, ugh.
I didn't see.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, you.
I just see a quick GIF. Then we got Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's Championship. The clip I saw started right when, right at I guess I could just find it here. Oh my God, with Britt Baker attacking her outside. That's where the clip started.
Definitely go out of your way to come see this, Matt. This was really damn good. Not a surprise that every single match that freaking Thunder Rosa is in consistently, it's the best women's match in God knows how long. Like, this was awesome fun. I'm constantly going back and forth.
I'm sorry.
They set up a feud for Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. I am really excited about that. So now hopefully we can get some steam going for the.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
The point after when Britt runs back and after the attack,
and she comes back.
Wait! I'll get to that. But to get to your point, like that segment from after attack to the end of match, I sat and I thought to myself, damn, like this half of the match, I'm just gonna say half, I guess it was better than anything the actual AEW women's division put on.
Like it's just
like that match, like that part, I sat there and went, son of a bitch. Am I watching NXT?
And man, I guess who we didn't see this week.
Hikaru Shida.
Yes, the freaking champion, which they announced after this match that she's
I saw this
her title against
why
Anna Jay. I'm just like,
why?
Whatever.
In what way? Why? But yeah, but to go back, so I'm watching the clip, right? And Thunder Rosa lost and looks distraught outside, and all of a sudden she's attacking somebody. It was like, what's Britt Baker? She runs away and then she comes back out and said, "What? Why?"
I'm like, why?
You run away. Why? You don't go. You have. They say hit and run. You don't go back to the scene of the crime.
I was like,
what did you expect, Britt? Her not to notice her. Oh my God.
I was like, damn girl, you would make a terrible robber there of any sort of like bank.
A terrible patsy.
Like, it's just like why would you go back to the scene where Thunder Rosa is literally right there and she can see you? Of course she's gonna beat you up there, but that being said, I'm really excited for her versus Britt. This, I think, could possibly be AEW's best women's match, or like a feud. Sorry, that they have ever had. And I think it's getting more and more clear that we're gonna be seeing this pretty consistently. Like I want to see Serena Deeb, Alison Kay, Thunder Rosa, like incorporate them and just put them with the AEW women's title picture. Like just put them in there. Like we need to stop putting over the NWA women's title every single week over your own freaking title. And that was just the main thing. And like they have not tried to at all, man, to put any sort of like effort or storylines into the freaking division that should actually matter. Like it's just really, really, really frustrating.
You just
But
get
that being
these
said,
random. Oh, I demanded, and Tony Khan's like, yeah, sure, why not?
but hey, a very good match. Thunder Rosa is freaking awesome.
Yes.
So yeah.
You get Darby Allin and Cody versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about this match, Matt, with Brian Cage, this man needs to like stop he needs to stop selling so much, especially for guys who are twice his size. Like he took a Canadian destroyer.
That's when this clip basically started. Yeah, that's where the clip basically started. I was like, wait, what?
Taking a Canadian destroyer from Darby Allin. So that really,
I don't buy that for a second.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, why? But a very good match. Then obviously Cage.
I love this finish.
Well, but yeah, that's fine. But the problem is, Darby Allin is the TNT champion, and he's getting pinned clean. Why is he getting pinned clean? Like, why couldn't Cody take this pin here? Like, it just annoyed me.
Probably because could he hit the move as good as he did with Darby? Darby sold it, but yeah, he is your champion.
It's just like I really hated that. But after this thing, Ricky and Cage are beating up on Cody, and Darby eventually Will Hobbs. He comes out and he turns on Cody and Darby Allin, and he is now with Team Taz, and I freaking love this. Loved it. This is the best thing for.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
Okay, you must have cut out for 10 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah. Now he is with Team Taz, which forms another trio team there. Something to keep in mind for, but definitely, I think Taz is going to really help out Will Hobbs, because hopefully give him a character, because I think, man, that we can both agree on this. Just extremely stale and bland.
It was a generic. Well, right. It was generic person that to me came out of nowhere. It was kind of just a thing,
right?
But now something's there. So yeah, that's good.
So I mean, how could you imagine him and Cage as a tag team, like giant tag team, which honestly
nobody should
really have. Like that's
nobody should beat them.
Right, exactly. It's someone like that tag team really stands out right there, because as
nobody should
we've seen that. Right, everyone else is so freaking tiny compared to those two guys. So, like, I would not mind that, and I would not mind either if they do bring along with these trio tag titles. They could be a very good team, and a top heel tag team on top of that. I mean, I really do think that has some potential there. What do you think about the tournament?
It's interesting. It I guess something that needed to happen. I think it's good for Hobbs to do. Some intrigue on that. Well, more intrigue on the team. So yeah, I'm messing with this. Yeah.
And like one last thing here, we're just gonna be talking briefly about the Cody Rhodes situation. There was a story that came out late last night of a former AEW employee essentially accusing Cody of being a like bully and stuff backstage. Matt, did you have any thoughts and pretty much where is
I
head right now on this?
I want to wait and see if anything more comes out, obviously, because we kind of just have the one side. I told you the other day that that this person didn't seem, compared to the rest of people you see in these situations, um, doesn't come off as bitter, but trying to explain his side, stuff. I mean, somewhat more plausible than, like, let's say the Riddle accused you with the car story that didn't, like, you think didn't make sense. I think, is it plausible? Yeah, I'm not there, so I can't say otherwise.
I'll say this. I do think that some of what he's saying is definitely true, but I do think that there's definitely some more with this story here, because I would like to think as just a common sense human being that Cody wouldn't basically shun this guy, just pretty much tell anyone around him, hey, do not have him around me. He had to have done something, because that's what I want to think. But at the same time, it's the professional wrestling business, and people are extremely petty with shit like this. So
nothing surprises me anymore. The first part of the story was it seemed to me was a lot of
circumstantial.
Heard it from somebody, like, Cody thinks this about you, and wasn't directly, but at the same time, at the end of his story, it seemed like it was more directly from Cody stuff. I don't know. So, like, I really, honestly, like I said, we're not there, so we don't know what happened. Could some of it have happened? Maybe, possibly.
Yep.
But this is a type of story that would die quicker, because it's not having involved anything sexual or degrading.
And the Glossy Man within the last 24 hours, it's kind of has already died down. As I've seen
this is the story. This is the type of story that Cody can ignore, and nobody would be the wiser.
No, and to, like, I think
it's unfortunate, but that's what.
Yeah, well, like I think like newer fans overreact to this more as like us who have been fans for quite a long time. This has been happening in like wrestling since the very beginning. Hell, like Jim Cornette tells stories every single week from the territory days, whether it was in WCW or WWF, TNA, Ring of Honor. This shit happens everywhere. It's just with them social media, man, just everything is so heightened times like 50 that everyone is just going to.
But it's at the same time, if most of what happened to this guy is legit, it still doesn't mean it's right.
It's definitely shitty, but it's just like.
But the thing is, the optics is, it's not a sexual abuse or whatever we had back a couple months ago. So unfortunately, if social media, you would think stuff like this would come out and it would be a bigger thing, but it's in relationship to other big stories. It's nothing unless somebody else came out eventually like, yeah, this blah blah blah, and it would pile on, and then you can't ignore it. But
But the fact that no one else has come forward yet outside of this guy, um, has been a little bit surprising because if you recall with the Tessa situation earlier this year, where like from like last year, I want to say that this even was where she had every single female wrestler that she was even associated with was just piling on top of
Yeah.
stories
So,
and that with the speaking out movement where you just saw like a laundry list
it was
of incidents. Yeah.
it was the right storm of stuff.
But now, guys, we're going to finish off the podcast with discussing this week's NXT. Matt,
Yes.
overall thoughts on this episode?
I think just going through it, I thought it was a good show. For the most part, I think the second hour was really helped it. I think it was the best hour, without a doubt. Just scrolling through results here to refresh my mind from 2 days ago. The second hour and the ending of the show was obviously good.
Yeah, I will say this: the first, I would say, like 30 minutes of the show were pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. And just everything involving like Leon Ruff, I'm just not really digging. That's just me, and like how I feel about that blindfold match. So like those two things I wasn't crazy about, but the rest of the show I felt was very good. And obviously capped off with an Io versus Rhea, which was a very good title match.
My quick thoughts on Johnny versus Ruff for the North American title. Obviously, Leon Ruff wins. I appreciated, because you never see that the face helps the face win by and cheating the hill out by attacking the person they want to help. I don't know, like that aspect of it I liked, because you never see it and it's kind of logical in a way, and he saved them, and then later on in the night, I like this somewhat underdog story with Leon, that and they followed up with this with backstage, Damon Priest talking to Regal, and Leon Ruff comes up to him, overhearing that he thinks this whole thing is like a joke and it's funny with him, and Leon Ruff is standing up to himself, this skinny guy that got lucky, that nobody's taking him seriously, and then Damon Priest is backing him, but like the whole overarching theme is trying to screw over Johnny, and then Leon takes offense, being pretty much stands up to himself and just slaps the crap out of Priest, and Regal's there going, yeah, well, you asked for it. That's that's your fault. Like, to me, it made sense to me that, like, hey, the face, is standing up to himself, like, hey, let me do my stuff. I'm the champion. Like, let me prove myself. I don't need your help. Like, to me, like in any other show, Raw, just wouldn't like that logical follow up wouldn't make sense or wouldn't happen. To me, it's logical of that. Yeah, I mean, you may not like the whole thing, but the story is actually making sense, and we'll see what happens down the line. And then we got the blindfold match. Kim Grimes, Dexter Loomis. after, Grimes, the typical trying to find the person. He basically kills the ref, and which allows them to take the masks off, and Loomis kind of just fights. So the good thing about this was the whole match wasn't just trying to find everybody in masks, but it was actually a beatdown, and then Loomis, Grimes runs away, jumps over the glass, and runs out. For what it was, I mean, it could have been worse. I'm just happy the whole match wasn't find me and then trying to find everything, and it was just all just silliness. But there was actually some Dexter Loomis is beating the crap out of him, which I liked. So that saved it for me, for the most part. But it was what it was. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but
I just think the only other blindfold match that there has been was like Jake Roberts versus Rick versus.
We had there was one before.
Okay, if there was, but,
if not, there's a couple, but it was years ago.
But
I remember seeing one.
Yeah, I just think that this match is really hard to do without any crowd whatsoever, because you're really feeding off of that there.
It's hard. I think that's the match in general is hard to do good.
Yeah, right, and it's really
there's no good way to have one.
Right, so it just didn't really work here. It wasn't good.
Yeah. Then they announced. Well, after this, they were again the backstage with Priest and Ruff. Then they announced, or Shotzi announced, with a little vignette of War Games, coming December 6th. Wait, was that her hooray for like yay for War Games?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, it was you said that so monotone. I wasn't sure how you were going with that.
Yeah.
But then it was pretty much confirmed that Shotzi's team versus Candice LeRae's team in the War Games match, and then we're gonna get another War Games match for the men. We'll get into that later. That's the one we all expected. So then following this, we had Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, with Candice and Indy getting the win. Which I wait, what? Oh yeah, LeRae hits the Wicked Sister finisher to get the win, which all as expected. Again, I still like Indy. I liked her since I first saw her debut back. Well, I don't even know when. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Do you have any thoughts about that match?
Not really. A solid match, as you said. And it's pretty clear that, and I'm pretty sure that they announced that Indy and Candice are going to be on part of the War Games match.
Yeah, well, they kind of announced it before with Shotzi, and Candice and Indy are like automatically together.
Yeah,
so that's two.
Yeah, and I was kind of saying to you, it was like this whole like War Games match. I feel like for the women, which is kind of just like thrown together, and I really think that they should have just done like Shotzi versus Candice.
I see. I mean, they've kind of done that before.
Yeah,
like with the thing. So if this was just, I ran over your tank, let's do this, I would obviously agree. But there was a history leading up to this, so there's some kind of backstory besides the tank. There was that number one contender match. There was a obvious prior history, so it's not uh, like just randomness, but yes, compared to the men's, it seems like it, but there's been something there for the most part. Then we get a vignette for Arturo Ruas. I don't know. He used to be on Raw Underground, but he's on NXT. It's him versus Kushida, and Kushida gets the win here.
Yeah,
With an interesting pin, I remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm liking that they're making Kushida a freaking
Yes.
badass, which I'm freaking loving.
Yeah, he's building the wins.
Yep, definitely building the wins. Definitely think he's going to be a future title challenger, maybe against like Finn Balor at some point.
Or
Think
North American, one of the two.
Yep, one of the two there. He definitely, I think, needs to be challenging for one of those titles in the next 6 months.
Down the, I think in the media, not too long, he'll be there.
Right.
What do we get back? Ember Moon, Tony Storm versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Good good tag match between these two. I mean, these two teams. I'm always high on Raquel. She always looks good. Ember, Tony are good. Dakota Kai, not. I mean, consistent too. This was good. I enjoyed it. And then Storm pins, rolls up. Kai takes the pin, which good. And Tony Storm and Ember Moon get the win.
Yeah, yeah, very good match as you said. And we had Candice and Indy Hartwell, I believe.
Yep, come in attack.
Interfered here as well. So I think it's pretty obvious with Tony and Ember are going to be on team
Shotzi
and
Dakota and Raquel. Yeah.
On team Candice. So
yep.
I believe that Shotzi would just need one other person, right?
Yeah, because it's 4-4, right?
So okay, yeah. So I'm trying.
Right, it's Shotzi, Ember.
Who else would be?
Do they really have a match for EO? They really don't have a storyline.
No, and I don't think that she's going to be defending her title on TakeOver since she defended it this week. So
I mean, they could throw her in there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely, even though I think they should probably just find someone else and just keep her off of the show. I don't think that she really needs to be.
It's true. It's true. But
on TakeOver.
But
I don't know.
To have her in there.
Right. It just kind
history
of
with.
Yeah.
I don't know who else you would.
Maybe like maybe Rhea.
Maybe a Rhea.
Maybe
a Rhea. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I wouldn't either two. I wouldn't be opposed with. Yeah. Then we have the SUV pulls up. It's McAfee, Dunn, and Lorcan and Birch. The Brands here. They're interested to see what Finn says later on the night. Then we get back and we have Austin Gray versus Timothy Thatcher in a quick match with Thatcher getting the win. But right after Tommaso Ciampa comes down, but this is right after Thatcher says to Gray after he submits him, "Don't pick a fight with someone you can't beat." And then again, Ciampa comes down. He's staring Thatcher all the way down into the ring, and Thatcher walks out, says, "I have no problem with you." Exits the ring, but Ciampa still stares him down. And later, in the backstage interview, Ciampa says he's trying to make it obvious he wants to fight Thatcher, and then walks off. Man of little words.
It's just definitely an interesting match here.
It's gonna be freaking rough physical match. Like I'm
um,
looking forward to it just for that aspect of alone. How much you're gonna beat the whole hell out of each other. I know what you're gonna say, but say it.
Charisma vacuum. But
not that way.
We'll see how it goes. So
yeah, and then Damian Priest is supposed to have a match, but is attacked by Gargano, and then Ruff comes into the mix too. It's kind of attacking both, and gets the upper hand, I believe. He goes up on stage, celebrates with Priest and Gargano. I don't know why I'm looking like you guys can see what I'm looking at or pointing. They're like upset. They're both annoyed at Ruff. Then Priest realizes it's Gargano's next to him and kind of goes after him. So all three have a common enemy. So that's probably going to be a triple threat match at TakeOver. That's obvious. Then next week it's announced Kevin Owens is going to be on commentary next week. I can't wait. That should be hilarious. Then they show the segment with Boa last week, and now Regal is confronting Bo at his house.
so they're definitely going on with like mystery where Zaya hasn't appeared in like 3 or 4 weeks or so on NXT.
And then Bo hasn't showed up for a week.
Yeah.
I think he says I thought Bo said she's coming. But I guess did he say he's coming?
I think so, yeah.
Or he said she. I was like, who's this she? But somebody's coming.
Yeah, somebody's coming.
So we'll see. I'm still intrigued to see who this is. So I guess we'll see next week or whenever. Then we get the women's title match, Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai, and a damn good match.
Yeah.
Damn good
excellent
match.
Between that and the NWA women's title match were 2 excellent matches here. Really back and forth. And obviously Io, she retains here. And I even asked you this last night. I was like, did this seem like a bit of a write off for Rhea here?
I think of it before.
That's kind of
maybe.
Because I was like, I wonder if she's gonna be moving on now. Which I honestly I think it's time for her.
Probably.
I mean, she has been champion both the NXT UK champion. She's been the main NXT women's champion. She has feuded with everyone at this point. I just think she has accomplished all that she has needed to. They definitely need her on like Raw for sure, because Asuka legitimately has 0 challengers for her title.
Yeah, I think it's I was about to say at Raw. Yeah.
So I mean, I think that they need to strongly consider calling her up. They just need some actual challengers and some actual women who can actually wrestle on like Raw, because no offense to Dana Brooke and Lacey Evans, and Andy's hurt right now. So
out of all of them, I'd rather see Lacey, because I think out of Lacey, Dana, and Mandy, I think Lacey can actually go. It's just
Yeah.
they need to make her go. And damn it, she needs to be a face, not a heel.
Mhm.
Just because she does all this like troop stuff and all this good stuff, and I see she would be a perfect face. Like, oh damn it, it's pissing me off. They're ruining her. I'm a big fan of Lacey. It's just they're doing crap with her, and
It's just like ever since that she's been called up, they've done her no favors whatsoever. Like when they first debuted her against Becky after she beat Ronda, and she's Becky's first challenger. Just I'm like, are you trying to freaking kill her? Like,
then
initially
they
here?
kind of recovered, and they had a chance, and they didn't do it. When she was a face, because it was working, it was getting there, and then they switch her back randomly.
Just as far as calling up NXT talent, just this company sucks. That like it's so horrible what they do, male or female. It really doesn't matter. Just they've done like just absolutely horrible with these people, but we'll see what happens.
So, but then after the match, immediately Finn Balor gets into the ring and starts cutting a promo, and then not too long, excuse me, Pat McAfee comes out, interrupts him. He's cutting a promo as only a Pat McAfee can do. Yeah, I like his line. He went something like, since he's been sipping steaks through a straw with his jaw shut, his team's become this NXT's become their house now. He goes, they killed Drake, they killed Killian Dane, they killed Breezango, they killed Undisputed Era. Like, just great promo. So they surround Balor in the ring, about to attack him, and Balor has the line. It goes, "It's easy for the mice to play when the cat's away, but the cat's back, and look what he just dragged in." I like the line, and then lights go out, and Undisputed Era come out, and they start.
Cole beat the shit out of like Pat McAfee in this segment. Like he took a pump kick, and he sold that like he got shot. I'm like, holy shit, Pat! Like,
oh yeah, he sold that well. I forgot about that.
He sold that well. And it was also made official at War Games. It's going to be Pat and his boys versus the Undisputed Era. I cannot wait for this match. Like, there's so much bad blood here that this match actually calls for that match to be had here. So I'm really looking forward.
Oh, I can't wait.
To that. Yeah. And I just want to see a promo just between Pat and Adam Cole here, which I would assume we're probably are going to
we'll be getting it
next week. So yeah, that should be good, and that caps off NXT, Matt, and I think that
does it. Yes.
Yep.
We covered everything.
We covered everything, guys. So yeah, I don't think we are planning on doing a Survivor Series reaction. Not this week. We'll probably just cover everything
on Friday.
Yeah, on like Friday next week.
Because I guess we want to watch that Austin thing.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, so
I think I do too.
Yeah. So I'm like, so yeah, we'll probably just cover all of that for next week. And also stay tuned as well. Episode 67 of the regular podcast drops tomorrow at 3:15 Eastern time.
No, it's actually 3. It worked this time.
Of course,
but I don't know what happened, but it was changed. I went, oh.
Of course. Well, we talk NFL. We talk like Mandalorian episode 3. and we also talk about the news about HBO Max is going to be streaming Wonder Woman on Christmas, and we talk about like could this
Merry Christmas.
be could this be the like start of something for other like new films that are could they be
Yes.
like dropping on streaming services going forward, and how that would kind of affect with the like movie theaters as we know it there. So yeah, just be on.
Oh, and the preview of UFC 255.
Yep. And I will be tweeting along for that as that happens tomorrow night. Two title fights there for the men's flyweight title and for the women's flyweight title as well there. So yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, follow our Twitter page at MJ Make a Podcast, and we shall see you guys back here next Friday for the next wrestling podcast. So for myself and for Matt, we shall see you then.